Lewis Hamilton handed Ferrari an internal report. It wasn't just a technical suggestion, it was a warning. In essence, he said, "The car isn't listening to me. Unpredictable braking, steering with no clear response, and, more concerning, discrepancies between simulator behavior and real on-track performance." That's not just a setup issue. It points to something deeper. And here's what no one mentioned in the press conferences. Hamilton's data exposed inconsistencies that Charles Leclerc had been either ignoring or masking with his aggressive driving style. While the Monegasque throws the car around and thrives in slow corners, Hamilton feels every structural flaw and demands answers. Now think, why would the team ignore these internal differences? Why proceed with two clashing driving styles without aligning the car's core philosophy? Maybe because admitting that would mean exposing that Leclerc's car isn't stable. It's working in spite of him. And when the ceiling starts to crack, someone has to speak up first. Hamilton did, through data, radio calls, and between the lines. Charles Leclerc drives on instinct. Quick hands, late braking, aggressive rotation. It's a style that dazzles in qualifying and flatters a car that's on the edge. But what if that edge is a cliff? According to internal feedback, the SF25's rear instability, particularly under braking and in long corners, was flagged by Hamilton from day one. He felt a car that never settles, especially in low grip conditions. But here's the twist. Leclerc wasn't reporting the same issues. Why? Because his style thrives in chaos. He rotates the car early, throws it into corners, and corrects mid-turn. That works, until tire degradation or race pace kicks in. Then, the instability shows its teeth. The engineers, facing two drivers sending opposite feedback, lean toward the one bringing home better quality results, Leclerc. But Hamilton's long-run data, especially in race sims, revealed a deeper truth. The setup was fast, but fragile. This isn't about talent. It's about a car that rewards a specific style and punishes any deviation. And that creates a trap. If the car only works for one driver, what happens when that style starts breaking down? Behind closed doors, Ferrari engineers are facing a silent standoff. Hamilton wants stability, rear downforce, consistent braking feel, a car that behaves the same lap after lap. Leclerc, on the other hand, pushes for a looser rear, more rotation, and high front-end grip. But here's the internal dilemma. The SF25 can't give both. Sources inside the paddock suggest that when the team tunes the car towards Hamilton's preferences, they lose peak performance in qualifying. Leclerc suffers. But when they set it up for Leclerc, Hamilton calls it undrivable. It's not just setup anymore. It's philosophy. You've got two world-class drivers pulling in opposite directions, and that's tearing the development path in half. One Ferrari insider reportedly described it like this: "We're building two cars inside one. And it's breaking both." Think about the long-term effect. How do you develop upgrades if your drivers can't agree on what the car should feel like? How do you fix a problem when each lap produces a different truth? What started as healthy driver feedback is now a silent civil war inside Ferrari, and the data is showing the cracks. Something strange has been happening with Ferrari's race strategies. While Leclerc has benefited from clean air and undercuts, Hamilton has repeatedly found himself on the wrong tire, in traffic, or boxed in by late pit calls. Is it coincidence or a pattern? Let's be clear, there's no hard proof of sabotage, but the margin for error is shrinking, and every small misstep is compounding into frustration. At Monza, Hamilton questioned the radio calls in real time. "Why are we doing this now?" His tone wasn't angry. It was confused, disconnected. And the Chinese GP disqualification? Leclerc's car under the minimum weight. Hamilton's skid block worn down. Both technical violations, both preventable, both pointing to operational cracks. Insiders claim the team is under immense pressure to prove that Leclerc is still their long-term future, especially with Hamilton's arrival disrupting that hierarchy. Every race feels like a power play. So the question becomes, are these just strategy errors or symptoms of a team split between loyalty and performance? One of the biggest concerns raised by Hamilton was the disconnect between Ferrari's simulator and reality. He reportedly told the team, "The car I tested in the sim is not the one I'm driving on track." That's not just a tech issue, it's a trust issue. Ferrari has invested heavily in simulation tools, but insiders say their sim data often flatters the car, especially in low-speed rotation and traction zones. And guess what? Those are Leclerc's strengths. So the sim rewards his style and misleads engineers into thinking the car is more compliant than it really is. Hamilton, a veteran of Mercedes' ultra-precise systems, noticed this immediately. He's been pushing for recalibrations, urging the team to match sim behavior to what the telemetry shows on track. But that takes time. And time is the one thing Ferrari doesn't have in a title fight. So who does the team trust? The data from a system built around Leclerc's style? Or the instincts of a 7-time world champion who says, something's off? When your simulator starts lying, the entire factory goes blind. Publicly, Ferrari says both drivers are equal. But behind the scenes, the tension is growing, and the signs are hard to ignore. Leclerc continues to get the more aggressive strategies in quali. Hamilton gets the experimental setups. Is it development or deflection? Remember, Ferrari built this car for Leclerc before Hamilton signed. The balance, the response, the entire development direction leaned towards his style. Now, with Hamilton pushing for changes, there's a subtle resistance. Not open defiance, but a bureaucratic drag. Decisions take longer, adjustments get postponed. And here's the twist. Some insiders believe Ferrari wants Hamilton to struggle a bit this season. Why? To protect Leclerc's status, to avoid a PR crisis where their golden boy is suddenly outperformed by the incoming legend. It's not sabotage, it's politics. Quiet, calculated, institutional. But the longer it goes on, the more it looks like Ferrari is choosing sides. And in F1, when a team splits its loyalty, it splits its results. Charles Leclerc may not show it, but the pressure is mounting. Every mistake now feels amplified. Every session where Hamilton closes the gap or outpaces him chips away at the quiet confidence that once defined him. Behind the scenes, engineers have noticed it too. His feedback has become more reactive, more emotional, at times conflicting. One insider put it this way: he used to tell us what the car needed. Now he tells us what it's doing wrong. And this is where Hamilton's presence changes everything. He's calm, methodical, experienced. When the car misbehaves, he doesn't panic. He diagnoses. That contrast is starting to weigh on Leclerc, not just in the garage, but in his own head. In Monza, Leclerc pushed too hard into turn 1 during quali. The team chalked it up to overcommitment. But internally, they knew. It was pressure. Pressure to prove the car works. Pressure to stay ahead of the incoming storm. Because the moment Leclerc starts doubting the car or himself, that's when it all starts to unravel. Ferrari is running out of time. The data is split. The drivers are split. The factory is chasing two separate philosophies. And the car, fast in bursts, flawed in consistency, is starting to buckle under the weight of it all. Hamilton is not just exposing technical gaps. He's exposing cultural ones. He's pushing for structure, clarity, a reset in how the team operates under pressure. Leclerc, meanwhile, is trying to keep the rhythm he's known for years, but that rhythm no longer guarantees results. The tension is no longer subtle. The radio messages, the body language, the strategic decisions, everything screams of a team trying to serve two masters. So here's the question that Ferrari must answer, and soon. Will they evolve to unify behind a common direction, or collapse under the pressure of internal conflict? Because the fall of a car doesn't always start with carbon fiber. Sometimes it starts with silence, indecision, and a team too proud to admit it's breaking.